Alright everybody, welcome to a very special episode of The Careful Boys, where today we are going to be talking about Maui. Maui, y'all. Joe, take it away. Hawaiian native, sort of.
You have more ties to Hawaii than I do. You were born there.
You go to Maui all the time, no?
I was not born there.
My sister was born there, my parents met and got married there. I was conceived there. And I got married there.
Yeah, so we both have relatives there.
Both have hella relatives there.
But I was born here.
I was also born here, so why the butt?
You were conceived in Maui. Hey, Joe, were you conceived in Maui? You weren't conceived in Maui.
I was conceived in Maui.
That's pretty cool, man.
I'm actually very upset about that I was conceived there and my mom was there for 8 months and then came over in month 8.
On the 9th month.
I think in the 8th or 9th month and then came over.
So you could have been a local boy.
I could have. And I lost all my Hawaii privilege.
Yep.
I lost all my
shakas all the time.
Pigeon. Yeah. You know?
Dude, anything with pigeon would be cool. Do you have a good pigeon accent?
Nah, bruh.
What did you...
That's really good.
Try listen. No.
Try listen. Say Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
What did you Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
It's crazy because... So I wasn't planning on stopping by, but I missed a flight, so I had to do a connector at Maui, and then we've been watching all the footage and everything, but it's so different watching it on the phone versus seeing it on the plane, just looking down and going what the fuck? The whole area is much bigger than what you can imagine because it's just the whole town of Lahaina is gone, completely gone. I don't know if you guys ever been there.
Never.
Sure.
I've always wanted to go, but
I got this tattoo there.
In Lahaina town?
In Lahaina, yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
That's a cool tat.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'll go there every year, and just being in a place where all of a sudden it's just disappeared out of overnight. I was what the fuck? How? And then how fast it went away? That's crazy.
I heard on Breaking Points. You ever watch Breaking Points?
Nah.
They were talking about it, and they were saying that they were having malfunctions in the fire of the water irrigation system.
No, they shut it off.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah, not malfunction. They just turned it off. They were that's too much water you're using.
Wait, to stop the fire?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Do you think that's fishy? That's fishy,
dude, bro. There's a lot to it. So Maui's already got. They're already in a drought. They're already don't have enough water, right? And then a couple years ago, it was so bad that when people were visiting, they were telling the locals limit your water use because there's so many people coming in right now, and then you're just using too much water. So their water reserves were low, and then so while they were fighting the fire department was saying their water just got shut off. So in the middle of fighting the fire, they ran out of, there's just no more water. There's footage of people with garden hoses, just trying to protect their homes, and then the water shut off.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Some fishy stuff, huh? Fishy business. What do you think?
It just sucks to make him laugh during that.
I'm sorry.
moment.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
I think for people that don't know, all right, we got to go through the sequence of what went down because there's some people saying that it's a fucking weather attack. And then there's so I'll give you the crazy,
out of all the
most crazy.
I heard there's some crazy conspiracies.
Conspiracies.
And some that sound very reasonable.
And I'll tell you the reason.
All right, give
the
us
crazy is that they said that we have these weapons that can manipulate the weather, right? And then so they were testing it out on Maui to target that area because they want to wipe out that whole prime real estate and turn it into a 15-minute city. Okay, that's the most outlandish one, and it was a coordinated effort.
Yeah, what's a 15-minute city?
Like a smart city?
Yeah, like a smart city, and it's like a modern
15 minutes though.
city.
Only
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah. But anyway, so that whole camp believes that it's a coordinated effort by the government, everybody, because there are a lot of weird shit, right? So for one, it's they say that it was planned because You know, they didn't even sound the alarm. And Hawaii has every once a month they test it on every island. When you hear the like it gets really loud, like a fucking bomb is about to come.
Is that a tsunami alarm?
It is. But it's meant for it's an emergency alarm, right? That alarm didn't go off. That was the first thing everyone asked. They're like, why didn't the alarms go off?
Who's in charge has now resigned.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
And that guy was off the island conveniently, and he was in a hotel seminar with FEMA about environmental disasters.
Oh wow.
How coincidentally, right?
Everyone's gonna, all these conspiracy theories are gonna say all this shit. It's all coincidence.
They're gonna think I was fucking around.
Yeah, there's a lot. So I'm just going.
George Bush reading fucking elementary school books.
Yeah, I'm just going from the wildest shit to the most normal shit, right? So that's the wildest shit. The most normal shit is it was extremely fucking windy. Like nothing I've ever experienced here in California. It was like 100-mile winds. So fucking windy that roofs and phone lines and everything were falling down. On Oahu, it wasn't as bad, but it was still very freaking windy. So if you see footage of before the fire, on Lahaina, like there's this street called Front Street. That's where like the main street is, where all the shops are. There's people like walking around town, and they're showing you like trees that fell down and roofs of whole entire buildings just gone because the wind blew it off. Holy shit. So a lot of the businesses were closed that day, and then a lot of people weren't walking around. So maybe it could have been worse, but a lot of people just weren't in the town already. And then Lahaina always has fires during the summer, or just Maui in general. Whenever I'm there, there's always like a brush on fire or something, and it's usually upcountry, meaning like it's on the other side of the island where there's like these grassy hills. So there was there's a footage of a guy where he's recording this little fire because the electrical
Power line?
Yeah, the power line, it fell. And at the end, it was like, zzz, like that, right? So they got this patch of grass on fire, and then the fire truck came, and they're like fighting it, and then it flew on the other side, and it got the other side all lit up. So like, that's where everyone's like recording it. You see the beginning of it, and it starts from up the hill. And then so apparently by the morning, like the fire department says that it's contained, meaning like they dealt with the fire. But there are other fires around the island. So there were like 3 fires going on at the same time. Another area called Kula, which is like, like a 30-minute drive or more, that was burning too. So that town was burning. This was burning. It was just a clusterfuck of crazy. And then the fire, I guess, was moving like a mile a minute. So it was like, when you see...
Damn.
Holy shit.
It's crazy, like you see one house on fire, and then like when they're recording it, the second house is already getting on fire 30 seconds later. So it's moving fast. Yeah. And then when the fire happened, the police and everyone was directing traffic. But I think the clusterfuck that happened was because of the high winds. A lot of phone like towers, or like, what do you call it, like those poles or like trees, all these things were falling down and blocking traffic. And you'll see this too, like cars are coming up, and then they're like, whoops, and then they're trying to turn out. And everyone's trying to leave. And then there's cops like directing traffic into the fire. Oh. They're like, oh, you can't come this way, you gotta go this way, because the roads block up there. So it was just such a crazy clusterfuck. And then with all the flames coming in, I was like, this is wild, because when you watch the footage, none of the cops are on the loudspeaker saying like, get out of your homes. There was no warning, no one knew anything. And then like, that's when everyone was just like, oh shit, we gotta get out of here. But the weird thing is there wasn't like a chaos of people like trying to run over each other or nothing. It was quiet, and it was just people like trying to get away. Wow. Yeah.
Holy shit. Because the footage of the car burning, the burnt cars, and like that. So the reason why they couldn't get out was because the roads were blocked, like right by the beach, like the.
Yeah. So there was several roads. You'll see this too if you watch the before the fire came. and people just recording the crazy winds. There's already like palm trees and stuff down blocking the road, and debris and whatever. Yeah, and then so that's what blocked up the traffic. There's actually one main road that goes out of town. It's only one.
Yeah.
So it's like one in, one out. So there was 2 ways to escape. One is going up toward like Kanapali. So one is going north, one is going south, right? And a lot of people will go south. But then that road, that's actually the corner of where the first fire started. So they already blocked that early in the morning. Yeah, so everyone that was going this way was like getting screwed.
So everyone's
Tell them
stuck.
to go this way. Yeah. So it was like a big clusterfuck, and in the little streets too. If they try to do local, like it was like, different, street blockages. Yeah. And I said, and I think like they're saying the last moments is when people were blocked, and then they were just like, oh shit, we just got to jump in the water, because it was coming from up the hill going down like this.
Those videos are crazy.
Yeah.
They said that so far at least 111 people have been killed, but only 10 people have been identified.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, dude.
I saw the police chief talking about it. He was talking about how they have to get DNA samples from all the burnt up ashes from the bodies, right? And they said it's taken a long time.
Also the resources to do that quickly isn't going to be high in a smaller town. Like, that's
They
not.
searched a total of 58% of the burned area of Lahaina so far. They're using a fuck ton of like cadaver dogs and stuff like that, but
It was 30 cadaver dogs. And they only, as of now, they only did like 25% of the town. Jeez. It's a big area, dude.
Yeah.
Because, so the official count is over 2,000 structures are completely gone. So imagine that's like, if one person's in one structure, that's over 2,000 people. The official, I think, missing persons count right now is like 1,300.
1,300?
That's the official missing persons.
A couple days ago, I heard it was like 1,000 or something.
Dang.
Maybe like a couple weeks ago, actually.
So what do you think of all those like TikTok detectives that are like
What are people
showing a bunch of graphs and saying a laser shot down and
That was a launch. They debunked that laser. It wasn't Maui. It was some other place, and it was going up because it was like a launch. I think it was California or something. It was launch of a rocket, but they debunked it.
dude, there's so many like disrespectful theories on like why
What were some of the hottest ones you saw?
that's the main one, is that they think it's a government ploy to steal the land, but then the cause is all these different like space age weaponry.
Nah, I think. So this is my honest thoughts about that. The government, the Hawaii state government, is really incompetent. I don't think they can pull anything off well. Like, it's really bad.
That a lot of Hawaiians always say that, yeah.
No, it's shockingly bad. Like, to me, it makes more sense that all of this was a extreme clusterfuck of one after the other bad
handling.
decisions.
Yeah.
And then no leadership, and like just everyone was caught off guard.
Is Maui getting any federal aid yet? Because I heard a lot of times.
So I think Biden says each member of the household is going to get $700, right?
Yeah, I heard about
if
that.
you so if it's 2,000 structures, it's
dude.
like what?
$700?
It's like less than 2 million.
And also, it's like these people who lost their homes. Like, I really hope. I mean, this might probably happen, but developers are going to look at this as an opportunity.
I heard
build
people are already
places,
getting calls,
and then they're going
right?
to be forced out of the place that they.
That's what I heard
They're not
was
going to be able
happening.
to afford it.
Yeah, they're gonna get priced out.
Even
That's
though
that's the talk right now. Is everyone's trying to figure out how to stop that.
Yeah.
That's so hard, right?
That's-
Like,
You know that MMA girl that's leading the Illuminator? or whatever? Yeah. So her fund, I think it's at like 2.5 mil right now, and she says that all of that is going to go to the community to make sure that they can keep their property.
donate to that, yo. Donate to that.
Yeah.
Residents are reporting that investors and realtors are trying to capitalize on the wildfires to purchase land from the locals. The Hawaii Governor Josh Green said we're not going to allow it, but I mean,
Who knows?
Yeah,
When
who
money's involved, it
That's
gets.
the crazy thing is you don't need a government ploy for that to happen.
Yeah.
That's just naturally what always happens after disasters.
Yeah.
Is that people come in
There's
and try to.
Scoop it all up.
Yeah.
they're trying to pass this. I don't know if it's a bill. I mean, I guess it's like a request for funds. But so FEMA apparently is broke, and in this disaster relief thing that they're trying to pass through, the request is 12 billion for Maui, but 24 for Ukraine.
Oh, that's good.
So people are talking about that, like, why are we throwing 24 billion to Ukraine or whatever?
How about we help our?
24 billion in addition to the already.
12 to Maui. So
I mean,
they're
like-
oh yeah. They're
Yeah.
so it's like a disaster relief. You know how they pack these things in with with extra stuff,
Right.
So that's, I guess, the conversation right now is like, wait, what? Like,
People are starting to get real salty about Ukraine now.
Yeah, no, for real. I'd be mad too, especially if I lived on Maui and dude, I'd be fucking pissed.
because I thought.
Especially if I lived on Maui and I was Ukrainian. I'd be so confused.
I'd be so mad.
If you're Russian.
Someone calculated how much it would cost to rebuild Lahaina to what it was before.
1.7 million.
5.5 billion.
Yeah.
So
5 billion
if it was like 12
Oh my
billion,
god, dude.
It was from the 700.
but how much do you bet? I mean, I assume that the 12 billion is not even gonna actually.
That's what I'm
reach-
saying, like-
it's gonna be funneled other ways.
What's the
Yeah.
likelihood that a lot of that
go.
money will be corrupted by Hawaiian officials? Like
A
you said?
lot. Well, it could be corrupted by
11.9 billion.
FEMA, the feds. Like, we don't know.
Right. Like by the time it gets to a hand of like a person that actually was a victim of it, it's probably $700.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Have you talked to anybody from like recently that lives on Maui of like what's happening, like boots on the ground?
My friend, he's a b-boy. He lives on Maui. He lives in Lahaina, and
Really?
his house got spared.
Holy shit.
Whoa, he was like, there's only a few structures that
Very,
got
very
What
started.
about the church, right? The church.
Very, very few. So he had a bunch of people live in his house. Like everyone's staying.
That's cool, bro.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
It is cool to see how the community like comes together.
Yeah.
You know, like that's really fucking tight.
Right. They're not looting each other and shit. Like
Yeah.
they're just cool.
Everyone's making sacrifices, driving
Yeah.
across town, supplies,
family, man.
loading up the giant trucks, and like that shit is really cool.
Dude, that's another thing
Dope,
too, because
yeah.
like, so you know how Biden was talking about FEMA, Red Cross is there. There's like 10,000 beds, or there's all this stuff, right? But no one sees FEMA, or they don't know where Red Cross.
That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing that the locals are not seeing any federal aid, and it's just like it's just us.
Yeah.
it's just the locals that are doing
Right.
the work.
The day after it happened, my friend flies air cargo to Inter Island, and so their company decided to give a bunch of water for the first responders.
That's cool.
So when they got there, and then they're like hauling all this equipment, and then they said that like FEMA or Red Cross was just holding all the pallets in one of the storage things, and they're just like, yeah, don't bring any more stuff. We don't have a way to transport it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But it sounded crazy because he said that when they flew in, it seemed like a war zone because there were a bunch of people like around the airport, just around the fence. And then they were yelling like, let us on, help us get back. Yeah. And they're like, we can't take everybody. So it's like, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, my sister-in-law was talking about how they might have to move off the island because, again, like work and their what they normally do.
Right.
Oh, they live on Maui?
Yeah, it might be compromised to a point where it's like,
What's your guys' opinion on like how, like there's a lot of people that are like filming tourism and like how dare they still come here and shit. But even though the other side of that is like some of the people that provide tourism are residents, Hawaiian-born residents of Lahaina that are like, well, we want to still make some money. Like,
Yeah, I think that's
what's the call? What's the
I
call
heard about it? I was like, fucking pieces of shit. Who would go over there during this time? But then you
people are
think
like-
about the other side.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah,
being
'cause-
shamed, but it's like, dude,
There's a lot of videos now of local residents that like rely on it, and
Yeah.
then they're like, dude, like what are you guys doing? They made a good point though, because they're like Jason Momoa and like all these celebrities, like you guys don't have to worry about money and you're telling people to not come, and it's like,
Yeah.
but what about us? And I was like, damn. Because at first, for real, like we saw that group snorkeling.
Yeah, the snorkelers.
And everyone, I'm like, the fuck? Like people just died in those waters, and you're snorkeling there the next day.
Yeah, that's a pretty.
Hey, I see a fucking hand. You know, like
Oh shit, dude.
But if that's like an actual Hawaiian business and the guy running that boat is a
Yeah.
native like dude, then is it so
Yeah,
bad?
well,
Like,
Yeah, I mean they don't. It's like
I don't know what the right answer is. I don't live there, you know, like.
it's like imagine the tattoo artist who lives there. It's like it's not like locals are just getting new tattoos every day. You know what I mean? You just need
Yeah.
people to come in. So it's like if that's the best version of support, it's like that's a double-edged sword. You can't get mad at a tourist in a sense, you know, because like we talked about in the other video, so much of Maui's economy is tourism. Yeah. So much.
for me, I'm like, I know people are angry, right? But then sometimes they just get mad at the first thing they see that's annoying and upsetting.
Yeah.
But I'm like, at the end of the day, your government didn't take care of you. Like they
That's
fucked
true,
up
yeah.
on so many. Like the police department fucked up, the fire department. Well, I don't think they fucked up, but they ran out of water.
Yeah.
Like that's so stupid.
That's crazy.
So like, and then whoever shut off the water is fucking stupid.
Yeah, like what happened there?
Yeah.
right?
And then you have the emergency response guy saying he had a conference saying like, oh, you know what? I have no regrets about not sounding the alarm. And then,
Really?
No
yeah,
regrets. That's a hefty statement.
Yeah, for real.
because he thought
Not
that the
sounding it
people of Maui were so stupid that if they turn on the tsunami alarm, they would run uphill.
I don't like those. I
But-
don't like those. Those
But
generalizations.
The thing is, everyone's told that that's an emergency alarm, not a tsunami alarm. And if you go on the website, everybody's just underlining that it's for wildfires specifically too. So then, like, that's why he resigned, because whatever. And then just there's so much incompetence every step of the way that I feel like, man, that's who you should be talking to. There were there are environmental groups that kept pushing the government to like deal with the brush fires and certain things. They did a survey on the probabilities of how dangerous it would be, and this was years ago. And they said you guys gotta do these steps to modernize your town. You gotta bury your phone lines. You gotta bury the electrical
Yeah.
wires. You gotta do all this shit, but like they didn't do any of it. So then now it's kind of like, to me, it's like, who, like the tourism is like, that's, I get that, but that doesn't solve your future issues. Like it's really being like making your government accountable.
Right.
Yeah.
The crazy thing too is like how many articles have we already seen where like none of that's addressed, none of the causes that could have, you know, made sense are addressed, and it just says global warming,
Yeah.
and nothing else is like talked about, like ways that the local government failed the people for the resources that they're paying out of their tax
Yeah.
for, like
But I'm
none of that.
surprised that people are going to use this to support some sort of agenda or narrative that they typically do.
It seems like such an easy cop out for corruption
is.
to like continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people get angry and they'll just latch on to whatever sounds like they're the enemy. But it's like you're getting distracted. You're like, oh, global warming. See, that's why. Fuck these guys. Like, fuck
Yeah.
conservatives or whatever.
Right,
And then the
right.
other side's like, yeah, fuck liberals because of this, this, and this. And then it's like, fuck tourists. And I'm like, you're angry at the wrong people that have no power.
Yeah, they're not gonna. That's true. Yeah.
That's very true.
And then some people are like, yeah, if this was a Republican government, it would be this and that. And I'm all like, no, it's just, there's nepotism and then there's corruption. And I think certain states have more of that than others.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the longer it goes uncontested, the stronger it
Right.
gets. Yeah.
Because the emergency guy that resigned, he wasn't even qualified for that role. He took like one seminar or some shit. He has no prior experience as a first responder to anything.
Damn.
So it's like, dude, there's all kinds of fuckery going on.
So it's mostly incompetence, you think?
I think it's 1,000%. Like,
That's probably the biggest.
You drop the ball in your emergency response.
Yeah, and you continue to drop the ball as you're running a government, and then these things happen. It's like,
Yeah.
I think it's incompetence from leadership and just, yeah, they were overwhelmed. Yep.
Do we have direct links to give money to the
Joe
people who
shirts.
are,
Yeah.
yeah.
Joe
Yeah. Oh, you know, I'll drop a Google link here. Like what I was doing was giving direct to families.
Yes.
And a lot of our fan base is actually either from Maui or they have family in Lahaina.
Yeah.
And what I just told them to do is send me your GoFundMe directly, and then I'll fund that. And so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, send it.
But if you guys just want a whole list of helping out families directly, because some of these organizations, not on this list, but you know, like for example, big organizations, a lot of that money just goes to admin fees. It doesn't go
soft
directly
costs.
to the people that need help.
Actually need help directly.
Yeah, and I would say like it might be better to just pick a family that needs your help.
Yeah.
And also these, even if they do get government help or whatever, it doesn't cover things like funeral fees if a lot of members of their family pass. It doesn't cover hospital fees if they got hurt and injured from maybe the smoke or all kinds of other things. So they are gonna need cash.
Yeah.
Send some money.